welcome to another fantastic weekend of Formula One racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Pants. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience viewing footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. There we go, once and all the cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is it going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? Let's break down, away we go!
DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone, because I have a feeling... Oh no, Timo comes under the pressure in the traction zone! My friends from mount up another overtake on 1P3 straight mark. This is right straight to the mark. Timo cracks under the pressure once again!
And Timo are oh, it's not bad. Oh no! Oh my god, this was so sorry, control myself. So Timo
I won't be going to penalty too, so they can stand at the back together again, just like Timo likes it.
How many times? Did you see how many times Timo tried to get into this window?
No. Okay, you did the intro. That's
good intro, guys.
professionalism
Good
on
timing.
EGL. I
Good
hope
professionals.
you made a. I told Taro that I was gonna unmute the microphone. Then he
Well,
says,
it's not my fault.
you
I
say
got
okay.
out of shape, but just at the wrong moment.
You say okay, then I wait 2 seconds. I think you're done. I unmute you instantly. Say something.
Hey, epic.
So
All right,
anyways,
that's
here
the
we
quality
are.
you've come to expect from EGL. Guys, and, I hope you're content with how good that intro was. It was pretty great.
Everyone who watched Italy just got a rough awakening.
Oh boy.
So anyways, hello and welcome. You're here for another evening of racing on the Extreme Gaming League channel. We are here, as you can see, in a race, or rather a qualifying session that really does put the poor in Singapore. I couldn't not make that joke. I never made that joke before, so here we are. It's soaking wet in the streets of Singapore for qualifying of the Tier 1 race. And we've got 20 drivers. We've got the usual 2 suspects in the commentary box who are very good at coordinating. So here we go.
Yep, hi everyone. We've got some full wet tyres at Singapore. We don't know if it's going to go to inters by the end of the session. We don't think so. We have a little bit of experience, don't we, Timo, of wet tyres on an intermediate track after last night.
Yeah, well,
that was a fun time.
I already prepared. Like I thought you were gonna say we already have an experience of wet weather driving, and I was like, no, you do that. I have an experience of wet weather sliding, but
Oh no.
but you ruined the joke before it could happen. So,
Hey.
yeah, rapid races did rain, and it did not suit me well. I like kind of dropped into the wall or something. It was fun. But
Yeah, your tires overheated a little bit. It was a sad time.
And I drove
Uh,
bad, but that's not the point. So, McKinnon chat
Ooh, Icewind.
predicting Icewind and JQR12. So, that's a bold one. Well,
well, I tell you what, I like Icewind is. He says he's not very good in the wet, but then he puts a lap in like that, which is faster than Gary, who's on pad and is extremely good in the wet. So, I don't know. WoW beats it though, just barely. A 157.0. But yeah, I don't know what we've got to expect here. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to Inters. I suspect it's probably
oh,
not.
someone did! I think it's a McLaren. Is that Basco? Yes.
It is Basco, yeah. The wrong way around in, what is that, Exeter turn 4?
Yeah.
Or turn 5 or whatever it is,
Finally.
the right-hander leading onto the DRS.
Finally, we're back to tracks where you just need to count to know the official corner name. It's the one. There's like
Well, but you don't know what to
turns 1
count,
through
because
11, and then Anderson Bridge, and then turns like the rest.
because there's like that little left-hander after turn 3 is turn 4.
What?
And it's not really a corner at all, because
So
turn
this is
5
turn
is the
5.
right-hander.
Oh.
And then the right-hander's turn 5, and then the little kink is turn 6, and then the left-hander at the end of the straight is turn 7, and the right-hander is turn 8. So it's like, it doesn't really make sense. You still have to remember which corners they are, actually. It's kind of annoying, but yeah.
I mean, honestly, as soon as we get like past turn 4, I can't count anyways. Like, it's just too much effort.
Yeah.
So you need to remember it honestly at this point. So, yeah, WoW has just about gone ahead of Icewind by like a 10th or something. But as always, with rainy qualifying, or generally qualifying in different or difficult conditions, it is like all to be taken with a grain of salt, because it could all change, the conditions could ease up, and oh my god!
Yeah, I was watching the end of Bailey's lap, and I was like, this is a very fast lap indeed. And as Hugo and Gary both beat it, they're both in the 55s, but Bailey, I think, is quite confident this weekend, and we've seen Bailey at Singapore before. He won the tournament race that we did here a few months ago, I remember, very convincingly indeed, along with Jensen, and won the tournament for SLR off the back of it, so... he is pretty quick around here. He's quite smooth, which tends to help him a lot. But Dragon, I mean, yeah, that prediction for Dragon was a bold one, but I think probably a smart one, because he's going to be fast around here. We know how smooth he is, very smooth, and he's put it on P3 in this early part of the qualifying session.
Also, we've got, I think, one new face in here that's already getting support from chat, and that's Mr. Mersu Marco, I think. I'm sorry for butchering that.
Yeah,
I mean,
something like that.
They should be used to me butchering LOR names from the EGL tournament qualifying, so, you know, they can't be mad at this point. So he's put in, well, one lap. It's a 57.2, but I mean, it's rain qualifying. We know LOR is a really fast league, so I expect... that he will probably do some great things, and we'll keep an eye on him.
Yep, LOR a Finnish league, of course, and as we know, Finns are born with a driving license as Bailey loses it into the tight chicane at the end of the lap. Just lost it on what looked like under braking there. He was trying to turn as he braked, which isn't necessarily how you go fast around Singapore. Can he rejoin properly?
He needs to get going, but he can't because there's cars coming. He might get disqualified if he's unlucky.
Oh, he really needs to move.
Oh, there's
and he's
one
gonna wait.
more after that, and it's too late.
Alpha Tauri.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's too late.
He's DQ'd.
Yes, he is.
Oh man.
Bailey out of qualifying. Could he have
That's
like
really unfortunate.
reversed or something to get his car moving? I don't know.
I think he needed to just get back on track. That's really unfortunate because we saw the spin, and he was trying to do the right thing and to stay out of the way. But yeah, you have to. Spinning in the last corner. That's a Force India Racing point. Dragon.
Good save.
And now we have a Haas 1-2, a 55-0 from Justin, and a 55-2 from Bryce. So the track getting faster, but yeah, just to finish off on Bailey, that was that's really unfortunate. That was Justin.
Those are normal
Yeah,
noises
you're
when I
watching
watch
there.
anyone in the wind.
Yeah.
That was me driving behind Icewind and Winnie for like half an hour last evening.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Real moments there for Justin. Icewind is in Sector 2 at the moment, keeping an eye on him. Danny went P4 with a 55.5, and we're getting towards the point in the session where a lot of drivers, I think, will be coming around to pit and try and do a fast lap at the end of the session on relatively low fuel. And yeah, Bailey, this game is so crap. Unfortunate.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Bailey, but like, I think someone in the grid, and I believe it was Bailey, told me that he's done so much practice for Singapore, and if Singapore goes wrong, then he's gonna be really mad. And I think it was Bailey yesterday evening. I'm not sure. So that feels bad, man. That's genuinely sad. We'll see. I mean, it is not the best track for overtaking, but it is also not quite Monaco, so you can still do things in the race. Also, it is a race where you need to, it is more of an endurance race than a sprint race, honestly, so can still make things happen from the back.
Longest track, well, not the longest track on the calendar, but certainly the longest race in terms of time on the calendar. And it's funny, you were talking about LOR names before, and I was going to mention my very favorite LOR name from the ones that we've seen, which is Cohorti. And there he is in chat. So
nice slide from Dragon. It's okay, you can just talk over those. It's just normal drivers in the wet. It's okay. Go on.
As WoW crosses the line, does a 56-1. Yeah, Cohorti, apparently that's the Finnish word for coyote. The little animal. I guess it's probably a loan word, right? It's probably the transliterated into Finnish.
Probably. And now the chat is getting unreadable for me. That's terribly unlucky. How much Finnish do you understand as a professional language, something, whatever? That's your job, right? Hello? Tara?
Oh no, my mic didn't work for some reason, so I had to deal with 6-year-old problems.
Okay.
But yeah, it sort of is my job.
Did you just call him a 6-year-old problem? Oh dear.
Well, he's 6-year-old, as in problems to a 6-year-old, which is that he's bored.
Oh,
that's a problem.
You should watch the EGL stream. I can show red cars for a little. Let's go, Danny. Okay, so anyways, go on.
I don't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, I was agreeing with you about it being roughly my job. It's certainly part of my job to translate stuff. So yeah. We go 5 minutes in the session, and we have still a Haas 1-2. That lead that they have has held up, at least for now. But now we have a bunch of cars on their out laps. We are expecting probably 2 or maybe 3 laps from each of the fast boys. Hugo's on an out lap, Gary on an out lap, Pretorius on an out lap, Bryce on an out lap, a few others as well. But they're the main ones to watch, I would suggest.
Yeah. Also, I wonder what Flash River can do, because he's only in P19. Like, his time is obviously not his full potential. I wonder where he can go.
Yeah, I think he will improve on that for sure. And we do have a couple of drivers who have decided to gamble on the intermediate tyres. Tipsy and Astro, both still in the pits, but they at least have come to the same conclusion, I assume independently of each other, that potentially there's some time to be found at the end of the session with the intermediate tyres.
I mean, going on board with Hugos, it does not look quite as bad anymore. Like, we might get to a territory where it could be like contested between the 2 tires, but then again, I'm using low particles, so maybe it's just maybe it just looks like that. But Hugos is certainly struggling for grip, and it's impossible to watch him because he's got the rev glitch. But
yeah, he might be doing the wet tires on intermediate track, which, as we know, is a little treacherous.
You had to, didn't you? My God, you're.
In fairness, Hugo did the same thing as us last night, and he overheated his tires as well. So
yeah, I want Joel back. He never roasted me.
So yeah, we'll see how this goes for Hugo. I'm just can't. It's the Williams. Is the display is too small for me to see what his tire temps are. It's frustrating. But WoW has joined the list of people, and NJJ as well. Oh no, NJJ decided not to, but Pixel has decided to go on Inter. So yeah, potentially we could have 1 or 2 surprises on the grid, and that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, if it works out and the conditions change sufficiently, and WoW like starts his lap right at the end, gets over the line with like, I don't know, a few seconds to spare, then he might just get great conditions for intermediates and be really fast. It's certainly worth a gamble, I would say. So will be interesting to see.
Yeah, just watching Astro. He's on his outlap as well on the intermediate tires. It seems that he's struggling a little bit more than you would expect from somebody in these conditions. But as I say, there's some time yet for him to do. I think he's going to have 2 flying laps on those intermediate tires. So we'll see whether he's able to get any traction.
Now Yugos comes around the final sweep, not as much of a sweep in the rain, but still pretty fast, and it is enough by a good portion. That's like 3/10. That brings him ahead of Justin, while Gary in the meantime has succeeded in splitting the 2 Haas cars, so he's put himself in P3 on those wets, but the Haas is still holding up really well. Like, I assumed the times were just gonna continue tumbling down and like people would get faster and faster, but the Haas boys just keep keeping themselves up there with those times, which is nice to see.
Yep, certainly is. I'm just watching Bryce. His second split was nothing particularly special, half a 10th up on his last lap time, so maybe he jumps Gary, maybe even Justin if the third sector is good, but certainly this isn't going to be a revolutionary lap for Bryce, I don't think. He's going to cross the line, he's going to do, in fact, yeah, he doesn't improve at all. There's a 55.3, so he's got some work to do still. Dragon was up on, oh no, he wasn't up on his first split time. He's 7 hundredths up on his first split time, just coming across the second split now. And he is 3/10ths up, so could potentially see some movement here from Dragon.
Very much possible. It depends if he can carry that upward trend he's shown in the first of those sectors. In the last 2, I mean, it gets into... Oh, no, never mind, it's sector 2. So he's got sector 3 to come, but it's a very technical one, so the added grip of a faster track would certainly do him well here.
Yeah, I don't think it's Inter's time yet, by the way.
I don't know.
I'm watching Astro Boys and WoW, and they are really struggling. It's a real struggle for the both of them. WoW almost into the wall there in turn 5.
Dragon goes
managed to
5th.
Keep it out.
Iceman goes in P6. And, well, Gary is just about ahead of Yugos as well. So he's actually taken the lead of
nice
this
lap.
session.
Yeah.
So, and Yugos... yeah, he came across just about in the last seconds of this, so he might get to strike back, but Gary also still on a charge.
Dictator glitch, remember? Oh, spinning is that Copy? Copy spinning on the front straight, yeah, so Copy's qualifying effectively over.
Oh no.
After that, unfortunately for him. Astro Boy's a 1.5 seconds down on his lap, so yeah, intermediates don't seem like they are the tires just yet.
Oh, yeah, no. No! That's how I felt yesterday.
Oh no. Yeah, Astro Boy's straight on in the chicane. You've got to be careful not to get DQ'd, of course.
So yeah, there's a car coming. That's is that wow?
Oh, Justin into the wall. Was that must have been on purpose?
That is Pixel.
I would have thought, at least.
No, wait. It was WoW. WoW struggling his way past the car of Astro. He sees what happened to the other guy on Inters, and he can certainly feel that it's not working out for him either.
Yeah, very sideways there in the last chicane. So WoW, yeah, several seconds slower this is, and I think this will be the end of his qualifying session as he does
Yeah.
the big crash into the wall. So yeah,
I can't
session. Oh, and
Let's
another
go.
car crashing
That's
as well.
Tipsy, I think. No, NJJ.
That was NJJ, yeah.
Bad at
Tipsy on
guessing today.
Inters, and yeah, Tipsy is 3 seconds.
Oh
off his
no!
lap.
Oh no! Did I not get across the line? Did Pretorius?
Yes.
Oh no, it was Astro. Why am I always wrong on these today? Lol. I thought NJJ might be. Someone goes. That's Dragon. No, it isn't. What's wrong?
Hugo's crossing the line. It's going to be pole position for Hugo's, and it's not going to be close.
Oh, wow.
53.8 from him, 9/10 of a second up on his time, and almost 9/10 up on Gary's as well. So I think that is pole position done. And
Yeah.
Dusted as Dragon didn't improve, so he spun across the final corner as
Yeah.
well. And over the line, he eventually will go, but not quite yet. Oh, he gets taken out there. That was fun.
Yeah, that's
By,
exactly
I
what
think
happened.
Tipsy.
Oh, there's a
No, it
penalty
wasn't
for
Tipsy.
Dragon. That was
Oh dear.
Pretorius.
Well, I mean, yeah, you hate to see it, but partially self-inflicted as far as Dragon is concerned, because he didn't quite get across the line,
There's
and
another one.
yeah, he'll get a 5-place grid penalty for that, and so will Pretorius, unfortunately. So yeah, we have a situation on the front straight. It's fair to say.
Oh, definitely. No, Pretorius didn't
Oh,
get
Pretorius didn't get one. Pretorius didn't get one. So Dragon's going to start P11.
one. Did you keep track of Gary throughout his lap?
I did not know
'Cause,
what was Gary's situation.
I don't know, but he died in the last corner. Like he did basically the same as all the others did. He dropped it into the wall there. And
Okay, I think it
he
was on
got
purpose
collected.
because I'm just looking at the race director. He was down on his time. He was 2/10
Okay.
down. So I don't think that was I don't think that was him. But yeah, Dragon is the only one to get a penalty. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that was at least partially self-inflicted from Dragon's perspective. So he will lose those 5 places. He'll start 11th.
Yeah,
One
and
thing
also, well, never mind. Tire situation is of course going to be neutralized with that rain and
Yeah.
dry race to come. So we're clear on that one. Doesn't really matter if you're in the top 10 or not. I think it's going to be interesting also to see what the likes of like Copy and WoW can do, because they're like P10, P11, P12, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually quick, so we'll see how they will get through the traffic here. And then up front, of course, the fight is gonna be probably once again between Gary and Yugos. I mean, sometimes Yugos can just... well, oftentimes Yugos just runs away with it, but sometimes Gary is close. And I remember last season, wasn't there a situation with Julian and Yugos, where Yugos was like fast for one of the first ever times? So I think he's got a good track record with this track.
Yeah, he. I remember. Yeah, back when he was a mere mortal, he drove in the tournament race that Bailey won, and did pretty well for 2SRL in that one. I remember. I think he finished P5 or P6, just by hanging on to the pack just behind me. So yeah, even then he was quick around here, and now he's of course very quick. And in fact, he's starting on the hard tire, which is an interesting choice. He's going to try and see if he can stay. As Astro Boys and NJJ both get disqualified, so they're going to be starting on cold mediums. But yeah, Hugo starting on the hard tire, and that is brave because there is a big difference early on between the hard and the medium tire. It's something like 1.5 seconds delta, and also off the line, the hard tire is quite a lot worse, and he's going to have to put some serious heat into it just to get it into the temperature range. So Hugo taking a little bit of a gamble here, and it'll be interesting to see how it works. He's going to have to stay out of trouble, of course, assuming he does fall back to some extent into the pack, which I think he will.
If we have a quick glance at the standings, of course, Williams wrapped it up last time as far as I'm concerned. Even though, yeah, the numbers are definitely not right because they show 3... No, wait. Oh, it says 514. They are right. Never mind. I thought it said 300. So, well, the championship, it looks pretty much decided. Copy and Gary, and also to an extent Pretorius and Danny might still have chances at that runner-up spot. So I think that's the battle we could still keep track of at this point in the championship. And Gary, again, getting himself in a really good position to see how, like, what he can do against Copy, because Copy's only in P10, and we've got 4 people disqualified from...
Pretorius and Mersu Marku. So Mersu Marku on his debut qualifying a very good P8, but yeah, getting himself disqualified on the formation lap. So he's another one that's going to be starting with cold tires, along with Pretorius, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
it'd be interesting to see off this start, because Hugo, I would suspect he really needs to get a good start, because if he doesn't, he could find himself completely swamped by the medium runners behind him.
Exactly, yeah. So that's what we're gonna watch out for. Gary goes to the inside, he's gonna have that grid slot, so maybe can challenge him into turn 1, and if not there, then maybe get the better traction out of turn 3, or even official turn 5, the right-hander. So it's definitely gonna be a big threat from that racing point to Yugos's race. And if there's a safety car in a disadvantageous point of this race, then he might be in trouble. But we'll have to find out as we wait for the starting lights. And we've got 5 red lights. And we go green in Singapore, and it looks like it was a good launch from Gary, but he's already alongside Yugos, as to be expected, but he's not close enough to make the move already. So now into turn 3, maybe he can get alongside. No, Yugos is still blocking that now with the acceleration out of turn 3. They run side by side, and now, as expected, Gary takes the lead at least for a second, but is squeezed out to the outside in turn 5, and he can't hang it around the outside quite enough. No, he actually can. He's ahead. Yeah, now through that king, Gary takes the lead. Can Danny follow him through? Yugos still challenging this. He's fighting as he's not content with giving up his lead easy. And he's back into the lead for 1 more second. Now Gary breaks deep into that corner. Danico gets alongside. So Danny now threatening Gary almost more than Gary is able to threaten Yugos. And Yugos can look into the mirror and watch those two fighting. And he's certainly got a smile on his face seeing that in his mirror, because there's absolute chaos between those two. And they're holding each other up. And they can't do anything about him. Justin also wants to get himself involved, I imagine. And Yugos actually managed to build probably one of the bigger gaps in this field, even though he was on hards.
Yeah, it's not going to last though. Danny, I think, took a tactical warning there to get the overtake done on Gary on the inside of the right-hander, but certainly a very good start for Hugo, and very impressive that he was able to hold that on the hard tyres. Copy, who's the only other driver on hard tyres, has gone backwards 2 places, and he's falling off the back of Bailey as well, as Wow already on lap 1 gets himself a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings.
Good meme, for sure. So now the question is, how long can Yugos hold Danny and Gary up and annoy the crap out of them before he will eventually probably lose those positions? I mean, wow, what are you doing? There's no way that they're gonna defend this, or that he's gonna defend this for long enough against those mediums. I mean, I think the crossover point where the hard has become better is quite late. Fox retires from the race early on, so that was probably some wing damage for him. And now Danny is already at the back of Yugos, as to be expected, to be honest. I wonder how much resistance Yugos is gonna put into this defensive work here. He leaves the space on the inside, and Danny uses that superior grip to get himself ahead, and he's probably gonna take the lead, although he breaks really deep into that corner. He's still gonna hold the inside for the left-hander. Yeah, he's got him. And it was a little more contested than I would have expected, but still made quick work of him. And Bailey, it's gone from a bad qualifying to a decent start to terrible again in the race, as he's round in the streets of Singapore facing a wall, and now he'll need to get himself in the right direction. But that's actually still a working front wing, but it's...
And Gary on Hugo, sorry, into the right-hander. Gary decides not to use his battery to contest that one into the right-hander in the third DRS, so no DRS yet, of course, but Hugo isn't going to be able to stay in DRS here. He's not going to be able to do that with the hard tyres. He's going to be outside of that 1 second window, I think, by the time they come around to the start-finish, and Gary all over the back of that Williams, and I don't think Hugo's going to be able to put any sort of defense together here. And he's got Justin behind him, he's got Icewind behind him, he's got Bryce behind him, everyone behind him on those medium tyres, and Hugo, just all he can do is try and sit there and try and make it as difficult as possible for these guys to pass. It's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, I mean, this whole calculation about mediums or hards at the start is honestly just about can he cost the medium runners more time when they are stuck behind him than it costs him to lose time falling through the ranks. It's honestly that calculation. And well, he hasn't lost immense amounts of time yet, but Danny is already checking out right now, and if it's a flat race on pace, I think he might be on the back foot a little bit. We've got, Bailey retires, unfortunately, after that spin. So we've got 2 out already after 2 laps.
And Hugo using a lot of battery to defend. He's already down to 27%. He did manage to stay ahead of Gary that time, but once it's gone in Singapore, generally it is gone. You can't keep the battery, and this is obviously very good news for Danny, who is going to be able to make a break here. But Gary all over the back, Justin all over the back. It's a real cork in the bottle situation here for Hugo.
I thought,
Gary.
Gary.
I thought he was going to run into the back of him as well.
Yeah, I thought he completely lost and was gonna check out into the right wall, but he didn't, so that's good.
Once again, Hugo using battery to defend down the back straight into the right-hander. He's just going to try for as long as possible to make it difficult for the guys behind to overtake. We've already lost 2 people, Bailey and Fox, both retiring in the pits on lap 1 and lap 2 respectively. But Gary, as I said, 2 seconds now the gap between Danny and Hugo. Hugo just trying for all he's worth to stay ahead and using as much of his battery as he needs to do it, as Gary with the DRS now, not quite close enough to have a look into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that he needs to get past as soon as possible because he's losing a lot of time compared to Danny, of course. Even though Danny is boosting a lot, Danny's got an emptier battery than the 2 behind him. Or at least than Gary. Yeah, it's about even with Hugo's. Oh, someone completely out of shape in the back. Mercer Mark almost lost
Gary
it, but
this time.
yeah, goes to the
Around
outside.
the outside into turn 5 as Hugo does defend that one. Nicely done. But Hugo now completely out of battery, so he's not going to be able to do that really again. It is lap 4 now though, and those mediums, they will start to fall off at this point, so they will still be a good bit quicker than the hards, but not just yet, as Icewind very opportunistically down the inside into the left-hander, Justin making a mistake in the left-hander before, and Icewind says thank you very much. He's up to P4 and looking pretty racy in this one.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive. I did not expect anything of this, like any move happening in that part of the track, but he just pulled that one off, and that's pretty good. So
yep.
Gary just, yeah, I mean, he's I'm getting some Sirotkin versus Perez vibes here, because like Gary should get past in his racing point, but the Williams is just, you know, driving too wide a car. And,
yep, at the moment he is, and I just wonder with the tyre deltas, because I mean Hugo with his pace advantage anyway is going to be pretty quick. I think he took a warning there, Hugo.
Yeah, probably
on the inside of the left-hander, but yeah, Hugo now almost completely out of battery. So I think this time Gary, as long as he's close, will be able to make this move, and he is very close indeed.
The last laps, Hugos went to cover the inside early and Gary was happy to take the outside, but I feel like it's gone so wrong the last 2 times. This time he has to go for the inside, surely, and Hugos blocks it off again, and he's not even alongside in the braking zone, and he can't get the move done fully on the brakes, so Gary stays behind for at least like half a lap longer, maybe longer.
That's a big mistake from Gary. Hitting the back of Hugo there is a big mistake, and not really able to get the move done after that, because he wasn't far enough alongside. If he just went around the Williams, he was past, I think. But as it happens, he is not, and Hugo once again holds firm, and once again Danny taking full advantage of this on those medium tyres. 3.5 seconds now is the gap, all the way up to Danny in the lead from Hugo, and Hugo doing a fantastic job of keeping that racing point behind him.
I mean, it's brilliant stuff. It reminds me also not only of Paris versus Sirotkin. I think, like in season 2 or something, Harzer kept everyone behind him for ages on this track. So we've had some situations here where the track just proves so tough to pass, and this is certainly another one of them. 4.3 seconds between Danny and Gary at this point, or thereabouts. And all just because Hugos wasn't going to be, like, isn't...
Oh, he's
getting
going
past,
here, is he? Hugo having to defend. Trying to go around the outside, Gary, and I think he is getting it done this time, as, yeah, he does manage to get his way past into turn 1 around the outside. Icewind now all over the back as well, and Icewind has the battery on Hugo. He can potentially force this move if he gets the run out of this right-hander turn 5. He didn't really get a great run, though, and he's going to use his battery, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to do this. Maybe he is, though. Hugo completely out of battery. Icewind down the inside into turn 5, braking nice and late. Too late, in fact. Can he get the cut back here? No, he doesn't. He went off the track, but he got away with it by the looks of it, and he does get that position, at least for the time being.
Gary must be frustrated. I mean, he's worked 5 laps through it. Icewind tries it, and on the first attempt, he just gets through. So that's probably frustrating for Gary, and good stuff from Icewind. Penalty for Danny, definitely not to be looked over, and that's probably big. I mean, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Danny
in prime position in this race, and getting a penalty on lap 6 is not what he needs to win this race. But certainly, I mean, the gaps are going to, I think, begin to open up. Icewind, though, in Gary's DRS, I think he's still going to be able to pull away enough from Hugo that Hugo's not going to be able to hang on. But I'm just wondering, like, the pit situation is an interesting one at the moment, because both of the pit window, as it were, for the medium to the hard, generally, I mean, the optimal pit lap is somewhere around lap 12, but the undercut here is extremely strong. So it might be that with the undercut, somebody might take a chance, pit very early for the hards. The hards can go a long time and make their way past almost this whole gaggle here, because we got second all the way down to, what, 9th, is a pretty tight space. It's only a few seconds between those guys. Justin gets 3 seconds.
I've got some... Oh no, Icewind gets himself penalty already as well. So Danny and Icewind already in the back foot on penalties. Gary lost loads of time behind Yugos, so Yugos has set himself up for success, or just waited for the others to set Yugos up for success here in those first 7 laps. So expect his second stint is going to be really threatening. What I was going to say though, is we've got some good fights behind as well that didn't get the screen time yet, because we've had brilliant battles at the front. Got a big train to P8, then a little bit of a gap with Mercer driving in a little bit of fresh air then, and then we've got Copy dragging a train. Oh, Bryce and Justin trading positions, both the horses! Did they run into each other? They're both weighted deep into the corner.
Did.
Oh,
they definitely
dear.
did. Justin's lost a bunch of his front wing as well on the right-hand side. I didn't exactly see what happened. I only saw the aftermath. But yeah, they were both locked together at that point on the outside of the hairpin, and Justin, I guess, either hit the wall or hit his teammate, one or the other. But certainly he's got damage, and certainly he'll have to get that fixed, because damage around here is bad news indeed, as Bryce gets 3 seconds as well.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's looked so good for them in qualifying, and they were running in decent spots, and then the absolute worst-case scenario happens. A quote about a bunch of clowns comes to mind watching it, but I don't mean to be mean, so it's fine. I won't say it. So, what I was originally gonna say, Copy is dragging a train of Dragon, Basco, Astro, Tipsy, and Pixel, and also NJJ. It reaches all the way to P17, and he's also now holding his own, but yeah, I mean, Light Cruiser has fallen off the back of Mercer Marco quite a lot, so Copy not in a great position in this race.
Wow, on the inside, sorry, of Pretorius as they go into turn 5, and Hugo now has a little bit of a gap behind him, so I just wonder if those hards are coming into their own, because the mediums, they do drop off very quickly. It's 2 or 3 tenths a lap slower you get on the medium tires. Even the mediums, the soft it's even more extreme, but the mediums fall off as well. And Icewind now beginning to fall back into the clutches of Hugo, and we're getting towards the sort of area where some of these drivers, particularly the ones I would suggest behind a train, are going to be thinking about making a pit stop and going for a large undercut if they possibly can.
Yeah, we're certainly getting into the range. Yeah, Copy's now caught up to the back of Light Cruiser. It's been like 8 tenths all the time, and now we're down to 3. So it might be the revenge of the hards at this point for P10. Also some, a stat, I don't want to jinx anything, even though it will be quite funny. As Pretorius has pointed out earlier, we didn't have any safety cars this week yet. We also didn't have any rain this week yet, but then this qualifying happened, so let's see if this race can break both of those trends for the week, or if it's just...
Yeah, we'll see. It'd be interesting. Flesh River has pitted, I don't exactly know how many times, but it's 2 times, in fact. I would assume for fresh wings, and he is now a lap down, so that is very bad news for Flesh River. He's going to have to get out of the way of the train behind him very soon indeed, as Icewind now very close to the back of Gary, and Icewind I wonder whether he's kept those tyres in better shape than Gary has. He's certainly putting a little bit of pressure on. The gap remains.
Oh no! Wow!
Win.
Woo!
Wow, my goodness me.
Woo!
That was a huge moment for him. He's trying pretty hard there in that Alfa Romeo. And almost dropping it there on the exit of that left-hander. He didn't, though. And a huge... Oh, there's a gaggle of cars here behind Light Cruiser. Light Cruiser having to defend on the inside there and copy it to back of him. And goes straight into the wall and effectively, I think, out of the race. And Light Cruiser with certainly a robust defensive move there. I think he came back to the outside and got rear-ended by Copy. So we'll have to look at that one again, but certainly Copy is the casualty from that one. Light Cruiser looks like he's relatively unaffected.
And Astro is now... No, Astro can't look at Dragon here. Tipsy gets another penalty. Yeah, I mean... Whew, I didn't see the incident, but it's unfortunate for Copy. He needs a safety car at this point. And I don't know if he will get one. It is honestly the only condition for him to still get some points here. Frustrating few races for Copy. Wow gets his third penalty. Or fourth, maybe I didn't see the third. So, yeah, he's also gonna drop loads of time at the end of this race.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Singapore, though, is that the gaps at the end of the race tend to be big enough that you can often eat a couple of penalties and still be okay. Whether that's the case here, I don't know. We don't have any rain in this session, which does mean that potentially the gaps will be a little bit closer as Copy does pit. He's going to be going, I think, on the medium tyres, and he'd probably do 2 medium stints to the end of the race from here. But certainly, if you get 9 seconds with the penalties, it is very possible around Singapore. It's such a long race, and it's such a... there's so many opportunities to gain time that potentially you can overcome that.
Yes, still gonna be hard, but maybe he's gonna stay in the points still. So Pixel's gotten a move done on NJJ, I think Ori's defended from him, but he's ahead nonetheless. So those people in the ascent from NJJ, and he loses his front wing in that. He stuck his nose in there, was really risky, and he paid the price. And also Dragon is getting himself ahead of Light Cruiser there on that back straight with the DRS. Yep. So Light Cruiser not leading that train anymore, it's now Dragon. So we've got a different Dutch driver in charge now. Astro also behind him. Light Cruiser looks like he's struggling. Astro goes to the inside, but he can't get past there on the bridge. It's just way too close, can't get past. And Pretorius goes to
Pretorius.
the pits.
Oh, Pretorius pitting, in fact. Sorry, yeah, I thought that was a battle, but it wasn't a battle. It was Pretorius pitting, and Justin pitting as well. So these are the first of the scheduled pit stops at the end of lap 10, which is a couple of laps earlier than ideal. But of course, the undercut being as powerful as it is, that's not surprising that we see a few drivers doing that. Meanwhile, the gaps up front. Hugo has managed to stay in relative touch with the drivers ahead of him, and now those hards will be, I think, if not faster than the mediums, then certainly as fast as the mediums. It's Justin and Pixel.
Dragon
Astro Boy's
and...
down the inside. Oh
Yeah.
no, it was Astro and Light Cruiser.
Oh, okay.
Astro going down the inside into turn 5, so Light Cruiser loses another place and almost loses the car on traction there on the exit of 8. Turn 7, not turn 5. Or no, I don't know.
Counting with
Singapore,
Singapore,
it's turn 7, it's turn 7, whatever. The left-hander at the end of the DRS straight.
Oh dear, Singaporean corner names. So, I was gonna say something, I forgot it. Good.
Okay, well that's
I wanted to ask the people in chat, because I think we've got quite a few Finns watching. Is this like a sort of agreement between all you Scandinavians that you've got this exact helmet design with your national colors? Because we've got it for the Swedish guy and for the two Finnish people. Is this like a conspiracy or something? Am I missing something?
It's a good question. They're patriotic people, the Finnish, and with good reason. Their country is pretty excellent. As pitting is Icewind and Wow and Bryce and all of those guys. I'm just seeing who might have been held there. Icewind certainly wasn't held. I don't think Wow was either. So good news for them. Are they going to be jumped by the cars that are already pitted, though? I don't think so. Let's have a look where Pretoria is. Pretoria's coming down the main straight now, and I think he's going to be pretty comfortably behind. He is, in fact, ahead of Bryce, so he has jumped Bryce, but Icewind is well clear, and so is WoW. So Pretorius getting himself a position with the undercut. Justin is just a couple of seconds now, or 4 seconds or so, behind his
Oh,
teammate.
Tipsy! There's a crash between the McLarens, and Basco's definitely lost a bunch of front wing. Light Cruiser gets ahead of him, and Tipsy was also involved in that. He's missing both end plates. I didn't see how that came to happen, but it certainly means big repairs for both of the stricken cars at the end of this lap. Luckily they had to pit anyways, but that's still not still not gonna be happy.
There's not a good time to crash, but this is maybe the least bad time to crash for the McLarens and for Tipsy, because they will have to pit anyway within a couple of laps, so they'll do that at the end of this lap, I'm sure. It's a few extra seconds driving around slowly without a wing, and it's a few extra seconds changing the wing as well. But not a complete disaster for their races. He does have Tipsy does have Icewind behind him though, on fresh tires, and this actually might matter a lot because he's going to be very slow in this in the twisty bits here as Tipsy, and Icewind isn't going to be able to get past, and that's going to close WoW right up to the back, I think, of that Alfa Romeo. And yeah, Icewind just has to wait. There's no way he can pass here. So Icewind is going to have a little look up the inside into the right-hander, but no chance.
Oh, please don't go to the inside here.
Pit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Tipsy will pit, but yeah, WoW right on the back now of Icewind. That was very bad news for Icewind, really bad luck, as WoW now is putting him under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, it worked out exactly as you said it would. There we've got Gary rejoining the track, and he's right with Icewind and WoW right now. So that is where you come out. Danny is still stretching those mediums up front, 12 laps in to the race. He's still leading comfortably with 6 seconds, but I mean, that lead is not going to feel comfortable when Hugo gets onto his medium stint.
No, absolutely not. And Hugo now reeling in Danny, because Danny's tyres will certainly have seen better days at this point. He is 13 laps into this stint. He probably will pit at the end of this lap. No real reason to extend the stint any further, I would suggest. But I was just going to say as well, Tipsy did...
No.
Pixel has... retired in the pit lane. So yeah, but I was going to say that Tipsy has done his Irish compatriot Gary a huge favour there, because Icewind would certainly have undercut Gary, I think, without that little incident. So certainly Gary benefiting from that one.
And now
Icewind
another favour. Yeah, and another favour that's gonna happen for Gary is that Icewind needs to barge his way past Light Cruiser here, because Light Cruiser got passed by Gary early, but now he's still ahead of the other two, so the gap there is gonna be increased even more. Now Light Cruiser has been overtaken by Icewind, but Icewind off the back of Gary because of that, and now WoW is the next one who will hope that he can get past. Yeah, Light Cruiser pits, as to be expected. Oh, that's certainly, yeah, that was a penalty. Yeah, bad news.
So yeah, WoW I think now is 12 seconds, but Danny did pit in the meantime, and he's come out quite significantly ahead of Gary and Icewind. He's got the tyre advantage as well for the rest of the race, so Danny is looking completely set at this point. Now the question is, how far can he get, and how far can the rest of them get into eating into that 21-second lead that Hugo now has? Hugo on the hard tyres, of course, he will have to pit and put the faster medium compound on, so he'll be very fast at the end of the race, but I suspect that he'll have to get through a lot of traffic to win this one, because a pit stop around here, it's somewhere around 28 seconds. It's a long one. So at the moment Danny is 20 seconds behind, so he's certainly well within range, and I think at the moment if he were to pit right now, Hugo would be out somewhere around where WoW and Pretorius are. I think he'd be between those two, but of course those guys will be faster for a while because they have fresher tyres. So Hugo, I think, has work to do if he's going to win this one. We've seen him do that work before, though.
Yeah, it's... I mean, when is he gonna pit? I would expect, like, lap 18, lap 19, something around that time.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then he'll drag those mediums for, like, a solid 12 laps, and that's gonna be a fast stint from him, but we've seen the overtaking difficulties on this track. But, I mean, the difference doesn't get much bigger than... like realistically, much bigger than the fresh mediums against some worn hards. It's more of a difference than at the start of this race, and then you also have the difference of Yugos and other drivers, so it's probably still in a good position. strategy has worked decently fine. I think he would have been like in a similar position had he done something else.
Yep, I think that's probably right. As Wow does the fastest lap of the race, he's right on the back of Icewind, but certainly he is pushing very hard indeed. You can see just by the onboard, the inputs are very aggressive at the moment, and he is trying everything he can to get within range of Icewind. He does have a battery advantage, so potentially if he gets close, he'll be able to make that move.
You can see that Icewind is feeling the pressure, honestly. I mean, we've seen it earlier on when he had that near-death experience. He doesn't seem too comfortable with the grip his rear has, and now with Wow on his back, riding on board with Wow, you can see that rear stepping out quite a lot on traction. It's a difficult one in Singapore. Like, traction is one of the main points where your car can get loose, and Icewind is certainly fighting and also contributes into tire wear, of course. But if he checks penalties at any point, he should know that it's not worth to die over this.
Yeah, no, it certainly isn't. Icewind might do with just letting Wow go here. Wow obviously eager to get on with his race, and it certainly seems to have pace in that Alpha Tauri, but Icewind has exactly the same tyres as him and won't be giving him it easily. With Gary just 2.5 seconds up the road, they won't want to lose a lot of time either, because Gary is on fresher tyres, but certainly he's not out of reach.
Ocean Chief in chat, of course, assuring us that Icewind is definitely chilling and
Ice chilling. That's absolutely right. Oh, it was Wow. Wow is not chilling. He hit the wall there. Wow's going past here. Oh, it's the wrong side. Wow, yeah, okay. He got it just about. He almost ran into the back of Icewind there, but didn't. And he is through into P4.
It looks like Wow is the fastest car on track right now. Got that purple sector there. Does he actually hold the fastest lap? I think he does. Yeah, it does. So
Wow does, yeah.
He is the fastest man on track right now, and Icewind, I think, made the right call when he decided to not fight that too much, because, investing battery in such a fight on a track where you gain so little back is generally not advisable when you know you're going to get the position anyways.
Yep, absolutely right. Pit stop update. Hugo, if he pits now, he comes out, I think, slightly, well, almost fighting with Pretorius, I think. If we assume that it's 28 seconds. He is 28 seconds off the lead as Pretorius, so Hugo, I think, will go another couple of laps before he does pit, but certainly when he does, he'll be in the pack, but he's not really losing time to Pretorius, despite the big tyre delta that he has. Pretorius not really able to make any headway into that lead, so Hugo putting in the hard laps here when he has to, in order to give himself as little work to do as possible come the end of the race.
Yeah, it's working out really well so far, and every position he can get with that massive overcut is worth even more, because it means getting stuck in traffic less on his hunt for Danny, who is in the net leader of this race. And if we take you at 28 seconds, then it's an 11-second gap he has to bring down, which is probably possible, because for Yugos is really quick. Second of all, the tire delta is going to be there. With like 1.5 seconds or something is the estimate, and
it's more than that, because there'll be age on those hard, so it'll be somewhere around 2 seconds.
So there's definitely enough time for Yugos to pull this off, but I mean, it is never a sure thing that you will get through traffic without being held up by anyone. So it is still very much possible that something happens.
Yeah, and at the moment we've got Icewind has lost DRS on Wow, so it's a good situation for Hugo getting through that pack, because the nightmare scenario for him is that he comes up against a pack of 3 or 4 cars, all of whom are fighting, and of course in that situation he doesn't have a DRS advantage, but here he will have a DRS advantage because everyone's relatively strung out, and Hugo goes another lap, so 18 on the hard tyres at least. It'll be a 13 lap medium stint if he pits at the end of this one. I would suggest it'll be either this one or next, because he'll want as much time as possible to do work on those mediums. Yeah, Danny does the fastest lap of the race, Bryce is looking pacey. I was going to mention that because he's within 2 seconds now of Pretorius. Ocean Chief in chat pointing that out. He has about half of his battery, just slightly more than Pretorius does, so no real advantage in terms of battery, but certainly he is catching that Mercedes.
And I was gonna say how there are some fights in this race on track. We've got Mercer Marco on the back of Astro as his car goes, and he loses a little time. Did he have to hit the pause menu there? I think he might have, so that put him off the back of Astro again. They are fighting, of course, for the last point. And then the other fight on track, it's this gaggle of cars that we've seen crash early on. It's the two McLarens with Tipsy. So there's some movement there. They're running... Well, they are coming up to the back of NJJ right now, who passed them because they had the little incident in the first stint. So it looks like those 4 cars are sort of glued together in this race. Unfortunately, just fighting for P12 as of now, but if there is any funny shenanigans with like incidents, freebies, safety cars maybe, they could still very well get points here. So it's always worth to fight over the positions.
Yeah, it certainly is. Danny, Ocean mentioning in chat, Danny, as Hugo does pit now from the lead, so this will be interesting to see where he comes out. He's going to be on the fresh mediums, and it is going to be a 13-lap stint on those mediums. Danny with 38.9 on hards, which is extremely fast. I remember Gary with 3 seconds, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So we know Danny has the 3 seconds worth of penalties. We're going to see where Hugo comes out. Icewind, I think, is going to be past him, and it's going to be close with Pretorius. He's coming out of he's going to be ahead of Pretorius by the looks of it, so that's big.
Oh, we lost
Hugo
someone. It's Light Cruiser. Light Cruiser.
Oh, Light Cruiser, yeah, at the back. He was in that gaggle, wasn't he? So he's facing the wrong way, and he does seem to have all of his front wing, but certainly lost a lot of time there. But Hugo now, what's the gap to the leader? 11 seconds only in 13 laps. That looks extremely doable to me. Another penalty for WoW. He's not in contention for this race win at all. He will get points, but not much more than that. But Hugo now has work to do. I mean, it looks eminently doable, though. He is going to have roughly a 2-second pace advantage for now on the medium tyres. It will decrease over time, but certainly 13 laps seems like enough time to me for him to get everyone and win this race.
And he's got 4 cars to pass on the way there, but the grip advantage, especially early on, is gonna be really huge. I mean, UC already is taking those purple sector times right now, as was to be expected. The issue is just, I mean, he should, on pure pace, he should be able to get there, but the one thing that could get in his way is just if he loses like a lap or 2 maybe here or there because the guys are defending real hard, then it might get close towards the end. How realistic that is, I do not know, but it is possible.
He's gained 2 seconds this lap on Danny, so that's the situation. 9.2 is the gap as they cross the line, and as you mentioned, purple sector 2, purple sector 3, as you would expect for Hugo on those tyres. The fastest driver on the fastest tyre, and that will be probably the fastest lap, as we have 11 laps to go in this one. Dragon getting himself 3 seconds. Remember, of course, that both Danny and Gary, and everyone, in fact, in the top 4 has some sort of penalty. WoW has multiple penalties. So Hugo, all he has to do, he doesn't need to pass Danny, he just needs to get within 3 seconds at the moment, and he will be there. But Icewind is his first challenge, and Icewind very close to WoW's DRS, but not quite there at the moment, and really struggling.
Is he gonna do it on the bridge? No, he's not close enough. But maybe
I think
after
probably
that.
after the I think probably after the hairpin. Takes the wide swing to get the best run out he possibly can. Tries to get the traction down.
Oh, you can just see the traction difference, and there's nothing Icewind can do. Honestly, Yugos is just gonna break him here. Although Icewind is still holding the inside, he drives into the side pod. Was that some wing flying, or was it funny lighting? I was lighting. Okay, his wing's still there.
I didn't see any wing. Yeah, Hugo, I think, realized what was happening and backed out of it. That was a little bit too deep on the brakes, though, from Icewind, and he managed to get it stopped eventually without driving into the wall, but certainly that was a big obstacle for Hugo to overcome, and certainly he's lost some time as well to WoW there doing that. So effectively this is a wasted lap for Hugo. He'll
Yeah.
get him here, though, I think, down this start-finish straight as he goes down the inside into turn 1.
Yeah, there was nothing Iceman could have done about that one. The thing to do now is probably just to get the DRS off of Yugos and then hope that he carries him towards WoW and Gary. Maybe can do something later on when those get into their own dispute. How quick do you think the mediums fall off? Like, is there gonna be a point where the performance between hards and mediums evens out, sorta, or is it just gonna be like a second fast until the end of the race?
I think right at the end of the race it might be close, but before then, I think it's a major advantage now. It'll get less over time, but certainly for the next few laps, it's going to be more than a second. I would have thought, and probably, yeah. I don't really know. Like, I don't think it'll equalize by the end of the race. Put it that way. I think the mediums will still be slightly faster. As now, Hugo trying to get to the back of the... Well, this is now a battle group between Gary and WoW, so WoW will have DRS. Hugo will have DRS next time as well, but of course, it's much harder to pass when the car in front has DRS as well, and Hugo doesn't have the battery really to overpower WoW that way, so it will have to be some sort of opportunism or some sort of brute force pass with the grip that he has on those medium tires. We've seen him do that before though, and certainly, as he runs very wide there on the exit of the right-hander.
And WoW himself probably wants to pass Gary now. How much is the grip advantage? Gary gets a
3 seconds for Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another
wide.
penalty. Yugos, can he lunge down the inside? No, he can't, but... Oh, there's a crash! They run into each other. Gary is across the track, and that opens the door for Yugos beautifully. So yeah, he doesn't have to lose any time to those guys, as Gary's round needs to spin his car once more to get facing the wrong way again. Got the yellow still out, and Gary's dropped down to P8, so it's all gone bad for him, and that puts Icewind in a net podium position. Even though I think he picked up a penalty in that process, he's still now in a really good spot.
Yep, he certainly is. Icewind, yeah, I'll just check his penalties because he has, 9 seconds now of penalties, does Icewind, but yeah, he certainly is in a good spot. He's got, and yeah, Pretorius in a very good position as well. WoW, though, with a bunch of penalties. 2, he's going to fall down, but yeah, Hugo is the net winner there, as long as he didn't get any damage, and I don't think he did. He is now got a straight shot to the leader of this race. Danny is the leader, but the gap now is, well, about 7.5 seconds, as they are going to cross the line in about 30 seconds or so to start lap 23, and with 9 laps to go in this race. That is more than enough time for Hugo to get within 3 seconds, that is for sure.
Do Bryce and Justin have any pens?
Let me just check. So Pretorius has 3 seconds. Bryce has 3 seconds. Yep, 3 seconds. Justin has 6. Yeah, at least 6 for Justin.
Okay.
So that's their situation. Bryce in a good position.
Yeah, WoW doesn't have any damage, Chief. The touch was like really marginal. You could just see it slowly getting away from Danny after they touched there. Dragon is now passing Gary as well, as Gary looks like, yeah, he's headed towards the pit lane because he took damage. And he's even speeding in the pit lane, so it's safe to say his challenge for anything this race is basically over with that, and that promotes Astro Boys and Mersumaku into points-paying positions, so now they don't fight over the last points place. Both of them are probably going to get some.
Yep, the only real implication for this race of Gary having that incident for anyone else is that he might be able to take the fastest lap off Hugo, which I'm sure Hugo will not cry too many tears over if he manages to win this race. It's not as though there's a championship to play for. But yeah, 5.5 seconds. He's gained 2 seconds this lap as Hugo.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty academic at this point as Bryce gets 3 more seconds. So that's 6 for him.
Yep.
And yeah, Hugo, I just looked at the second split. Danny's second split was 107.1. Hugo's second split 104.7.
Oh, wow.
So 2.4 seconds already on this lap. He is really gunning it now, is Hugo, putting in some fast laps.
What did you say about Pretorius? It was 6 seconds you said about Pretorius, right?
I think
Or
it
was
was...
it Justin?
I think it was 3. Let me just check again. Yeah, 3 seconds for Pretorius.
So he is, like, just about behind Icewind, who gets really sideways there. So Icewind And Pretorius are gonna have a long distance fight for that last step of the podium, with the penalties coming into play. Gary, as expected, just sweeps past Tipsy. There's nothing Tipsy can do. Gary has taken the mediums to the end. It's not even gone for softs.
Yeah, our mediums are
Yeah.
faster over an 8-lap stint, 9-lap stint, or whatever it was that Gary had to do. As Danny now, I'm just again looking at the lap times between the two of them, and Hugo already half a second up on this lap. And it's looking pretty academic at this point. Hugo did take a risk with the strategy, but certainly, I mean, there were one or two dicey moments in traffic there for Hugo, but at the moment he is in prime position to win this race. NJJ passing Copy on much fresher tyres towards the back of the field. Those guys are just barely ahead of Danny and Hugo on track, but a lap down.
I'm afraid, Chief, there's not gonna be any gifts.
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
Hugo's probably gonna extend his winning streak to, what are we now, 5?
Oh yeah, he's still got the winning streak, hasn't he? So 5. This will be 5, I believe.
He's doing a Sebastian Vettel 2013. Second half of the season.
Yep, very possibly. And he's certainly been, I mean, we said it over and over again, he's been the best driver this season by some distance. Lap times, Danny 39.5, Hugo 38.2. And he's almost within the 3-second window now, with 7 laps to spare. And I don't think there's any doubt about the winner of this race at this point.
Yep.
Really trying to jinx it, but I think even our jinx isn't going to do it.
Just never works against Hugo's. It's really unfortunate. I wonder why that is. Can't possibly be driving
it's a
skill.
Complete mystery. It might be that he's really good, but Hugo making up for last night. He did select the wrong strategy. He wasn't alone in selecting the wrong strategy last night in Rapid Races. I can personally vouch for that, and so can Timo. But he certainly is going to win this one.
Ocean Chief taunting us about how our commentator's curse never works, but then again we said that Danny and Iceman are in good positions and the race is still 5 laps, so watch. So anyways.
Well, I don't want to jinx Icewind. He's
I don't either.
having a good race. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. He's
I'm playing with fire. Just want to see what happens, even though it would feel really bad.
We've got a fun Haas fight brewing here as well between Pretorius and Bryce. Dragon is somewhere near the back of that. Who was? That was a lapped car, I think, going straight on and letting everyone through.
Someone's dead, but that's luckily the right or wrong depending on your perspective, Alfa Romeo. I was worried it was Icewind, but it was Flesh River.
What? Oh, it was Flesh River. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a Racing Point for a second, and I wondered if it was Dragon having a moment there, but no, I'm pretty sure he was behind this group.
Yep.
Before Justin getting a penalty there. He is trying pretty hard, is Justin. He really wants to get to his teammate, who is just ahead. Bryce, of course, though, in that DRS window of Pretorius as well. So those 3 running 5, 6, 7. But Justin very racy indeed, very close now to the back of Bryce. He doesn't have battery, but he will have DRS, and he will have almost a perfect slipstream as well. So we'll see if he's able to get close enough. Bryce also boosting, and he did have a little bit more battery there. Gary does indeed do the fastest lap of the race, a 36.9. Justin not close enough this time. Oh yes, good call, Sonny. Yeah, Hugo at least has his front wing.
I was gonna say, at least Hugo's is not gonna crash out of lap 28 in turn 5. That would be so sad. So anyways, I'm trying to get hyper-specific. It worked with Wimpy in China back then, so, you know.
Just keeping an eye on this Haas fight, though, because this is going to get spicy quite soon, I think. Justin is obviously very fired up for this one. You can see just by the body language of the car, he's trying his very hardest, and so is Bryce.
Yeah.
That was very sideways.
Yeah. People should run less oversteer setups, because it gets me... Like, it gets me every time watching them. Oh, we've got...
Copy has retired in the pits.
I thought that was a safety car for a second.
I think he was about to go a lap down, which is why he decided to pull the trigger on that one. So yeah, a difficult race for Copy. He started on the hards, but it certainly didn't work for him.
Yep, it did not indeed. And now Justin...
Hugo on Danny.
Oh,
I think this is going to
right.
happen right here. As
True.
Danny, maybe not this time, yeah. Just sits behind for another lap or so. Hugo having a little bit of a moment, but that's all it was.
Yeah. Because it's not lap 28, turn 3 yet. So, turn 5 yet, so he's fine.
Once again, Bryce and Justin. Justin boosting, completely emptying his batteries, literally on 0.
Oh, late lunch! No way. Oh, safety car!
NJJ has crashed. We have a safety car. Oh, we have a safety car. Oh my goodness, we have a safety car.
Oh, rip Icewind, rip wow.
Well, yeah, let's just take stock for a second. This is, I think, the last possible lap a safety car could have come out, and it has come out because NJJ has crashed. The situation is that Danny only still has the 3 seconds of penalties. Hugo has no penalty, but I think 2 warnings. Not exactly sure. He's got 2 invalidated lap times and a warning, so I don't know how many that actually is. Icewind has 9 seconds.
Oh,
Wow has... Copy, just went a lap down. Rip.
Oh no.
As soon as he leaves, there is a safety car. Oh no. Wow actually only has... Does he only have... No, because he got a 3 seconds for corner cutting, so he's got at least 12, maybe 15 even. Pretorius only has 3, so Pretorius in a good spot. Bryce has 6. Justin has 6. Maybe 9 actually. These invalidated lap times don't make it easy because it doesn't show you when the penalty comes up.
Got pit stops from Danny and Hugo.
Yeah, there will be pits. They'll be pitting for the hards, for the softs, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They both are. It'll be probably. I think it'll probably only be a 3-lap sprint, and I think one of the effects of this actually is that not everyone will be able to catch the pack. So I just wonder if that's going to have an effect, because I think whatever happens, the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap.
Marsumarka rip with the speeding penalty.
I wonder if that's
really
a pit lane speed. I wonder if that's a pit lane speed limiter issue, because it doesn't work properly around here.
True.
It's bad luck if that is the case. Bryce and Astro have both stayed out. They have. That's brave. That's very brave. There's going to be a huge tyre delta from the cars behind them, and we are going to have, I'm sure, some action on this restart. Icewind has got 2 cars ahead of him, both on hards, to deal with in this last 3-lap sprint that I think we're going to have. As Milosh comes into the chat and says, Timo, he's done a 2-minute .8 at Bathurst. That's big news.
I didn't find what... It is genuinely, like, really fast, and it makes me sad, because... But
if he qualifies on pole, it's okay because he's never won from pole. So
he's never made it past turn 2 either, so that's fun. So anyway.
Well, from pole or in general?
Yeah. Okay. No, I was being slow on that one. Yeah. Just like. I've never converted one of my pole positions into victory in F1 game. Never.
Alright, are we going to have the safety car in this lap, or are we going to have a 2-lap sprint? I might be wrong about the safety car having to come in this lap. It might be 2 laps.
Yeah, that's the shortest stint at the end I've ever seen. It was Rapid Races France. That was really good.
Okay, well, this is going to be really good as well, because, yeah, Danny and Hugo, there is 3 seconds... penalty delta, of course. Danny has 3 seconds of penalties, Hugo does not. But certainly it's going to be a straight fight now between these two. Hugo no longer has the huge tyre advantage, and if we know anything about Hugo, he will want to win this on track.
How much is he willing to risk for it, though? That's the question.
Yep, that is indeed the question. So, beginning of lap 29, we are going to have a completely compressed field here. Only only Flesh River is a lap down. So 14 cars still on the Lee's lap, and they are, with the exception of Bryce and Astro, all going to be on fresh, soft tyres. So, going to be some fireworks.
I feel bad for Copy. It sounds like people raced him too hard.
Oh.
I was
Well,
more
he was
upset.
on the hard tires, and
Yeah.
with the
No.
mediums,
I
with
get the
everyone else on the
frustration.
medium, it's hard to do that. It's hard to hold people behind.
Certainly get the frustration. Sometimes it's like, yeah, sometimes people just like ruin your chances and their own chances at catching up to
I mean,
the pack. but,
Singapore is one of those tracks where it does feel like every single battle for position, no matter where in the race, really matters, and I think it does to some extent because overtaking is difficult here, and it can mean the difference between. It's not as though anyone's ever going to get DRS locked at Singapore. It's
Yeah.
you can pull away even with a small pace advantage. You can pull away with as many corners as there are and as many opportunities as there are to gain time. But yeah, 2 laps is going to be this sprint, and you can see now the whole field
Yeah.
all completely line astern.
How many pens do Astro and Bryce have? I should have made like a list.
Yeah, if I had a pen and paper handy, which I probably should have, I would have done that. Bryce has 6 seconds. Astro has no penalty.
Oh!
Astro has no
He's
penalty.
looking for a podium.
He
Oh.
is in very good shape. Safety car, of course, in this lap. He is on the hard tires though, so
Oh!
we're going to keep an eye on this. As we got Dragon.
Do
What's going on
they
here?
do they have the bug where like both of them get invalid overtakes and one of them is gonna get 5 seconds? Well, it doesn't matter. It's gonna get taken off.
But yeah, the 5 seconds won't matter. We can take that off. It might pop up in a second.
there
Yeah,
it
there
is.
it is.
Anyways,
So,
got the leaders right here. Danny is the one who gets to decide when we go green again, basically. When is he gonna pull away? The field is getting bunched up behind him and he has gone. Hugo sticks to him well. Astro's already looks already... He already
sorry,
looks like he's...
Icewind almost lost it.
Oh, wow. Astro trying to get past Bryce is what I meant to say. Icewind looks behind
Oh,
them.
Astro
and...
making a big mistake there, and Icewind is past. He's passed the first one already. There'll be no
That was
DRS,
important.
of course. That's the other thing with this situation. So Icewind is going to try and get past Bryce now and make as big of a break as he can. Astro, there's a queue of cars behind him, all wanting to overtake. There's one is past him already, I think, with Wow. And Pretorius is going to have a good look as well, but he has to wait behind Wow around the outside into turn 5. Astro gets very sideways, but doesn't
Pretorius
get it up, and
sends it!
Pretorius on the inside, making it 3 wide. Wow, what a move from Pretorius. He's going to make that move, I think, on both of them at once. Into turn 6, and spinning is Justin. He hit the back of Astro, and Astro spun around. Oh, Pretorius
Oh, what?
as well.
The
Absolute
Pile-Up
pile-up
is
here
dead!
at the end of the race. What an amazing crash. That's the biggest crash I think I've ever seen in F1 2020. As we've got Mersu, Marco, and Tipsy both retired. They both lost wheels. We have a lap and a half to go. What a ridiculous restart. And the upshot of it all, and they're still fighting here. Gary and Justin side by side into the hairpin. The upshot of it all is that Icewind has made a break and is 2.5 seconds now ahead of Bryce on old tyres.
Might get this podium. It depends on the situation with Dragon, Vasco, and Light Cruiser. The fact that Vasco and Light Cruiser, I mean, they are 6 and 7 right now, which is ridiculous. Like, they were noble most of the race, and now, like, it's all come together. They kept their noses clean on that ridiculous restart, and now they are here. Both of them up front. Yugos does what he needs to do, which is just, like, be there and don't do anything major, like, anything stupid, so...
Oh, Bryce using a lot of battery there to defend from Dragon into turn 1 as... they head through. Dragon, of course, on the fresh, soft tyres.
Justin, there's fighting going on between the two Mercedes. As
Yeah, Astro is going backwards, as you would expect, but Dragon, I think, now is going to be able to overtake Bryce. So he's on the soft tyres. He just has to really send this, because there is certainly a grip advantage for him. Yeah, just drives clean around the outside there in turn 5 and turn 7. Nicely done from Dragon. Oh man, any chance to breathe at all? The two McLarens are together, and I just wonder, I don't know what the penalty situation is with these two McLarens, and not really time to check at the moment.
Pretorius.
As Pretorius and Gary fighting, at least one of those two has front wing damage, probably both. And Astro right on the back of those guys as well. Wow does pit on the last lap, which doesn't seem worth it, but he does anyway. He's not going to get any points whatever happens with all of his penalties. So that's that situation. But up front, we're into Sector 3 now, and Danny looks like he is going to hold this lead on track. But Hugo, of course, with the penalty advantage, will win this race unless he picks up a penalty here in the last few corners.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. We've got 4 to go. Now it's 3, now it's 2. And Danny is gonna win on track, but it's only gonna be a P2, which is still an excellent result for him, as Yugos takes the win.
He gets fastest lap as well.
It does.
Does Danny.
And
Good stuff.
Iceland P3 for now, but what happens with Dragon? Does Dragon get the podium? No, he doesn't. Bryce also got penalties, so it looks like, yeah, Bryce takes Dragon.
No, Dragon has 5 seconds that he's going to have taken off, so Dragon is P4, I'm pretty sure.
Light Cruiser, Basco.
And Bryce P5. Yeah, the two McLaren, 6 and 7. Basco ahead of Light Cruiser. Great result for them in the end. Astro does get P8 with no penalties. Pretorius P9. Gary gets a point after, well, a complete disaster of a mid part of the race. He was running very well until that incident, 10 laps or so from the end, but he does salvage a point from it. Justin doesn't get a point in the Haas. P11, Wow is going to cruise around on the last lap, and he's going to finish P12, and that is your Singapore race. What a crazy last couple of laps. We said we were going to have some action with Astro and Justin being on the hard tire, and Bryce rather being on the hard tires, and boy did we have some action.
Yeah, I mean, that was it was also nice to see, because we have two drivers that I both I rate very highly, and both of them are on the podium finally after like so many disappointing results for Icewind and Danny, and they finally both got it together. And even with the penalty stacked against them, or especially for Icewind, they still managed to come out on well, P2 and P3, and Yugos, as always, just brilliant. So
yeah, and certainly an honourable mention, and maybe more than an honourable mention, for Dragon in P4, who drove a fantastic race with only the 6 seconds worth of penalties, which meant that, ignore the standings of course, because he's got 5 seconds that he's going to have taken off, but Dragon does get himself P4, which is a fantastic result from P11 on the grid. Who are we going to give driver of the day to? I think I would suggest that I would give it to Dragon probably over. Yeah, I mean all of the front three certainly made very good cases for it, but I think Dragon's performance was the standout for me, and certainly at the end he's kept his head when those around him were losing theirs, and certainly it was a race where that paid off in that 2-lap sprint at the end.
I think it's a good call. Like, my honorable mentions would also go out to the same people, like Icewind and Danny would have also considered. But I think Dragon made probably the best case for himself. Also Basco and Light Cruiser, I mean, their races have been like a little, they've been out of the top 10, but that safety car, they just took full advantage of it, got it to the points, which is also
absolutely. I mean, that's certainly it is worth a mention, but certainly. They're P6 and 7, and you get the result you deserve in the end, and they deserve it because they were there and they didn't have the penalties, and they made their way through that chaos cleanly. But yeah, certainly that was helped by quite a lot of luck, I think, in both cases. So while that is a very good result for both of them, I think I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's driver of the day worthy. I think Dragon. So he was up near the front for most of the race and took full advantage of the safety car and the lack of penalties and all of that stuff, and got himself P4.
Yeah, that's fair. So we're gonna go to the interviews then, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. Who's gonna talk to us first? Let's have a look. First of all, let me exit the game, and while I do that, we can see who we're gonna have for interview. I'm sure Hugo and Danny are gonna both be in talking to us. I'm sure Icewind is as well. I hope Icewind is, at least, because that was a result for him. Yep, all of those guys are in the lounge. Let's in the interests of getting everyone in and talking to each other as well as to us, let's bring in both Hugo and Danny, who were, I don't want to say in a race of your own there at the front, but certainly the two of you were the only drivers in that whole race that looked like you were fighting for the win. I think it would have been much more. Sorry.
Could take Gary,
Maybe-
but who's
Maybe Gary, yeah, but he was a few seconds behind, and he would have needed some amount of luck, I think, to get to you.
well, he
to
was 3.5 seconds behind me and I had a pen, so.
yeah, but I think but he had a pen as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
he did.
panicking the whole race.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think that's the it certainly looked to the both of us that one of you two were gonna win the race, and Hugo, who did win the race, just tell us what your emotions were when that safety car came out.
I don't know. I didn't really like. I didn't know if I would have been able to overtake Danny at the end. I wasn't completely sure because I think my mediums were starting to go off a little bit, and I pitted a lap or two earlier than I should have, so it would have been interesting to see what would have happened without the safety car, but when the safety car came out, I just thought, okay, Danny has a pen, I don't, and we're on the same chassis now, so there wasn't really a way to lose after that, I guess.
Yeah, no, with the 3-second advantage, that made it interesting. How hard were you trying to overtake Danny at the end there? It looked like you were trying decently hard.
I tried on the restart, but the game has no slipstream, so I could barely get alongside, and then I just didn't really want to crash with Danny at the end. So
yeah, no, fair enough.
I don't think I could have tried to overtake even if I wanted to.
How did that feel for you, Danny? Because yeah, I mean, from our perspective, I guess you were panicking about Gary behind, but from our perspective, you made that break early by passing Hugo when he was on the hards, and then Gary wasn't able to. So yeah, you got yourself a gap that way, and never really looked like losing it from our perspective. How was it for you?
I said at the start I needed to jump Gary, like at the start of the formation lap, and then at the start, I had awful starts I had to cover off. I think it was Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see Gary trying his hardest to overtake Hugo, and because, like Hugo said, no slipstream, he just couldn't. So as soon as I saw him, I could gap around the outside, took it, and then just kept it in until I got the inside and preference. It cost me a warning though, but
yeah, we saw the tactical warning you took on the inside of the right-hander before the bridge.
Yeah, but then I picked up another warning set to through that lap, so I knew it was
okay. Yeah, that was rough. Yeah, the safety car. I mean, the safety car, I guess, didn't matter in the end because, even if Hugo hadn't been able to pass, then he had the penalty advantage. But how were you feeling about the safety car at the end? Was that? Yeah, I mean, in theory, it wasn't too bad, but it's always it always feels bad when you lose that amount of lead. I guess certainly to me it does. But how were you feeling?
I didn't even think about that lead, to be honest, because all I knew was that majority was all on hards, and there'd be a madman to stay out on hards. It was fresh soft, basically. So I was confident no one else would stay out, but I think Bryce and Astro both did, which is fair enough. There was a bit further back, say ice and that, and then I just didn't want to lose the lead on a V-start.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was a brave decision to stay out on the hards. It worked out for Bryce, not so much for Astro. But
see this.
Yeah, we'll speak to Astro in a bit, hopefully, depending on time. But
yes.
we'll try our best to. But yeah, I mean, 1-2 for you guys. I mean, it's not. I'm pretty sure that's not your first 1-2 this season. Bahrain, yeah, that sounds right. But I guess it's 5 in a row now for Hugo. We're just wondering if you're going to do the old Seb Vettel 2013 and just win every single race from here on out, Hugo. How are you feeling about
that? I hope so.
He does that at paid power every time. And that's on stream, so yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just been so good to see you guys fighting at the front and doing so well in SLR Tier 1. So yeah, fantastic. How are you feeling about Sochi?
Not tried it. All right, now I think the curbs are massive. So
They are.
so
It's different from last year for sure because the
I have
curbs
to
are
watch
much
out for
higher.
that. That's about
Yeah,
it.
cool. All right. Any shout outs you want to give?
Pants for not showing up.
Hey. Yeah, we missed the banned safety car on lap 7. It's very bad.
Last
Just kidding.
season's Singapore race, Vance's safety car ruined me off a chance of a win.
Oh right, that's right. Yeah, because Timo was saying at the start that was when you were starting to get good, as it were. And yeah,
I
it
said
would
I
have been
remember
difficult
him.
for you.
Like you were fighting Julian, I remember. You did in Hungary and in Singapore, and I think in Singapore Julian like spun or something, and we thought you were gonna win, and then something happened. And I guess that safety car was it.
Well pitted on the VSC, when I'd already gone past the pits.
Ouch.
Yeah, fair enough. Well done to the both of you. It was a fun race to watch, that's for sure. So I'll drag you both back in.
Thank you.
And that was Hugo and Danny, and we're going to speak to our other podium finisher, Icewind, who I mean, it's fair to say that there was a tiny little bit of luck involved in the podium, but certainly you had top 5 pace in that race, and you were there and thereabouts for the whole race. How are you feeling about it?
Sure, I was like, if you ever watch my stream back, I was fuming under the last safety car because safety car, but I was fuming there because I thought it took my podium away. But well, in the end, I was super lucky anyway. So.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got past the two of them before they crashed, I guess, was the thing.
Sure. Yeah. So.
So yeah.
Yeah.
You were in,
that
you were in
was
position
my
for
only. That was my only strategy for the safety car restart. Like pass them before the end of the first sector, and I managed that. And then it's just. Just
yeah. From there, it was straightforward.
Not killing them, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. That's definitely
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so anyway, wet quali was not a very good thing for me because
I think you were going to say that's your best race of the season, and I agree. I think it was as well.
It's definitely my best race of on any street circuit ever. I think because I'm not very good on those. And it wasn't easy today either, especially in the first 10 laps on the hards in the second stint. I was really struggling to get the rhythm going. Then I found some good rhythm there, and then the safety car came, and I was like, no, because I was pretty much going for the podium there anyway. I think.
Yeah.
With whatever happened to those guys, and I don't actually know exactly what happened with Gary OC, Wow, and Hugo in turn 1. But,
we got it on stream. I think maybe Gary hit the back of Wow, or maybe the other way around. I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, they had an incident in turn 1, and Hugo just picked his way through. Basically, so yeah, they crashed.
Yeah, I got a third penalty there. I didn't even notice that I got that third penalty. I thought until the last lap that I had 6 seconds, but I had 9. But it won't really matter to the results, so no point reporting that, I guess. But yeah, I got a third penalty for avoiding that carnage in turn 1. But yeah,
worth it.
I'm really happy with that result. So lucky in an unlucky situation, I guess. And then whatever happened on that penultimate lap, I didn't look back. I just pushed forward. I just heard there was a massive pileup, but
there was a massive pileup. Yeah, go back and watch it. It was it was maybe I'm sure it was the biggest crash I've ever commentated on. Put it that way.
Yeah.
It was a huge crash. It was almost like do you remember the Macau crash a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Where like the whole track was blocked, and the cars just kept piling in. It was a little bit like that.
Oh no!
It was crazy.
It's at the choke point as well, I think, and turn 8. So.
Yeah, no, narrow track. But yeah, I'm pleased to say that you're happy. I'm pleased to hear that you're happy. With that.
I mean, obviously, I didn't have a reply to Danny or Hugo today.
Yeah,
the hard hit and miss for me, but yeah,
they were extremely fast.
Yeah. So no chance challenging those guys today, but
yeah.
P3 I'll take it anyway on this track at least.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, it's a really good result. Any shout outs? Excuse me, you want to give before we speak to Astro?
Thanks to Ocean Chief for once again listening to my moaning, because I was not really happy under that safety car. But yeah, all turned out for the better in the end. So
yeah, it certainly did. Yeah, and that was certainly, you know, the safety car was bad luck, and you made the best of it, and it turned out to be a really good.
I would say sorry to Wimpy, because I told him to shut up when like everybody was talking at the same time on VC, and I tried to focus on the race start. So
yeah,
sorry Wimps, don't take it personally.
Yeah, high pressure situation and all of that. But yeah, well done in any case. The podium's a fantastic result for you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, that was Icewind, and we're going to speak to Astro Boys just quickly before we sign out. Timo, if you're there, how are we doing for time? Do you need to go?
No, we're good.
Oh, we're good. All right. So maybe we'll speak to the others as well then. But first of all, we got Astro Boys, and Astro Boys, you were on the hards at the end there. Just talk us through that ridiculous crash.
Well, it was so funny. Like for a second, I thought I could have gotten P3 because I had no warning at all. So
yeah.
But that's why I chose to stick.
I jinxed you.
Oh, thank you. So yeah. Well, yeah, I had no grip in the tires when a safety car went out, I think, because it was impossible to keep that temperature in them. So WoW came past me, then I think it was 3 wide into turn 8. Then I think Justin hit WoW into turn 9, then WoW hit Pretorius, he spun, and just everyone crashed, so it was so disappointing.
It reminded me of the if you remember the Macau crash a couple of years
ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I piled in.
Exactly.
It was a bit like that.
It would have been so nice, like from P15 to P3 or P2. I doubt. P3 would have been so nice.
Yeah, I think it would have been P3, but certainly, certainly would have been a good result. Do you regret not pitting for softs under the safety car?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it was my only choice. So. Yeah. I mean, I took my chance. Just like in qualifying, I went out on inters because Jeff told it's inters time. So, well, yeah, I was like all over the place in qualifying as well. So,
yeah, I don't think anyone ended up improving on the inters. I'm pretty sure it was.
No.
I'm pretty sure they were just slower.
The same, so.
Yeah.
He also didn't improve.
Yeah, no, I think there were about five drivers who did, and yeah, none of them looked like they were comfortable at all. So I don't think it was just you.
Yeah. It sucks, but it is what it is.
But yeah, I completely forget whether you got a result in the end. Did you end up getting in the points there?
Yeah, I got into P8.
You were
P8,
yeah. Okay. But yeah, it could have been more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh well. How are you feeling about Sochi?
Sochi. Oh,
are you one of these
good results? Yeah, there.
Okay.
I hope so. I hope it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I was gonna. Have you tried it in 2020? Because the curbs are very different.
And just 5 leppers, but yeah.
Okay. Well done on the P8, and yeah, it could have been a lot better, but you certainly gave us some entertainment, and I'm sure you'll enjoy watching the crash back because it was completely ridiculous. We lost our minds. So yeah.
Just as the crash happened, I was like, "What are the commenters gonna say?"
We went pretty crazy. I'm not sure because it was me shouting for most of it. Yeah. I don't think I gave Timo the chance to for his voice to crack.
I didn't see the start of it. I saw like halfway through it, I switched into it and I saw a good helicam shot. So the first half is basically missing, but the second half is perfect. So it's like, it's fine.
Well, yeah, it was a funny crash.
Yeah,
funny from one side, outside from one outside. So
it certainly was, but yeah, gave us some entertainment. But well done. And yeah, any shout outs you want to give before I drag you out and we speak to WoW?
Not really.
Okay, cool. Well, well done, and that was Astro Boys, and we will speak to Mr. Wow, whose race did not end up going particularly well, but certainly you were in the mix for most of it. How are you feeling after it?
Well, now I kind of cooled off a bit. I wasn't really, I wasn't angry. I was just a bit frustrated. But to be honest, I didn't expect much because I didn't do as much practice as I would normally do for such a race because I just didn't have any motivation this week. So, yeah. Well, but I expected to at least be in the points, and yeah. Well, stuff like
it didn't end up working out. What happened at the? Well, first of all, what happened with the incident with Gary there in turn 1? What was?
Yeah. Well, I before the straight, I saw that Hugo was really close. And I knew he's gonna have DRS and try to overtake me. And of course, I wanted to make it as difficult as possible for him. And I had Gary in front, which I also wanted to overtake in simultaneously. Hugo was going for the inside. I was then going for the outside to overtake Gary. I had broke myself, hit Gary, and spun him around. Yeah, it's pretty much my fault. It was a slight tap in the rear, but.
Oh yeah, I'm just watching it now. Actually, I found it in the stream. Yeah, it was a really slight tap, but yeah, sent him off to the left, and obviously sent you off as well. And Hugo said, "Thank you very much." Wow, Hugo did really well actually. Looking at it, he picked his way through. It was really good driving.
I mean, I thought he would catch the spin, and I was kind of waiting for him a bit so I could let him by again. But well, I think.
Yeah, he went all the way around. Yeah, he went all.
Okay.
He did a 360. I don't think he hit the wall, but he did a 360. So yeah, he lost a bunch of positions.
Yeah, well.
So, unfortunate. But yeah, and then what happened on the? I guess you were behind the crash that happened on the safety car restart. Actually, were you? No, you weren't. You were with. Let's have a look. Oh, that's right, because you were in the middle of that 3 wide. Pretorius was on the outside. What happened then? Oh, right. Did you tag Pretorius? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Astro sent his POV already, and from that I saw, and I already felt it in the car. I got hit from behind. Turns out to be Justin hit me, and then he hit me into Pretorius, who then spun. And everything just exploded after that.
Oh my god, the stream angle was much better than my angle of that crash.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. It's pretty epic.
Well, my angle isn't too great either, so.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, just in terms of again, but you kept the penalties under control today at least.
Did I?
To some extent. Well, I mean, you had a few, but You were still in the running, put it that way.
Okay. At least
towards the end of the race.
So,
I mean, does that give you any confidence, sort of going forward? We got Russia next. That's a penalty track, if ever there was one. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to Russia, not only because of the penalties, but also I don't really like the track. I don't know what it is, but.
Yeah, no, I mean it's I don't either. it's really boring.
I think you can't really stay behind someone in sector 2 in the fast corner.
Yeah, the dirty air is much worse this year than it was last year. That is true.
And well, we'll see how you can manage the US. Singapore was quite hard, to be honest, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, you gain something like 5% a lap in Singapore, which is crazy. Once it's gone, it's pretty much just gone.
Yeah, you can't really harvest if you're not using overtake. Even then you can't really harvest. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so let's see how this plays out in Russia. But I don't know. After this race, I'm not gonna raise my expectations too high.
Well, I'm sure the results will come. The pace has always been there. And once once you get the consistency and stuff like that under control, the results will definitely come.
Hopefully, yeah.
So yeah, keep at it, and commiserations today, and we'll hope for a good result for you next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that was WoW, and I think that probably does us for interviews on this Saturday afternoon. That was our Tier 1 race. We'll plug the stuff that's happening tomorrow. We got 2 SRL with those 2 races. Timo's back. There we go.
I was there all the time. I'm just typing furiously, and that's why I'm mute. I also mute myself on the stream, so it's not there. No worries. I am very much here to plug all of our stuff. You don't have to. It's fine. So we've got 2 SRL, as you just said, tomorrow on the streets of Singapore, in the evening, Tier 2, and then Tier 1 with Tara and me driving. I think. Well, I think you are driving. I am for sure.
I am driving. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to drive for sure. The weather gods will determine whether I will actually drive. Yeah, so that's happening. Then we've got our season finale for ACC happening in 2 days, well, Monday. And that's at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. And Alexander Karsten is not driving that, so there's one more win for the... Well, I would call everyone from P2 downwards the midfield, so there's one more midfield win waiting to happen. And
Milos is at a 2-minute 0.8. Don't forget that.
True! But last season I did a 2-minute 0.3, so anyways. But this season I won't. So, that's hopefully gonna be exciting, and well, the rest of the week is also set up. We go to Russia. That's inspiring, isn't it? We love Russia. But as much as we might despise driving that track, I mean, it's still got some straights, and in the game at least, it's not terrible for racing. In real life it is very much, but I think in the game it's just fine. And you know the usual carnage that goes along with those tracks, so make sure to be there for that. And thanks for watching. See you next week.